sectors with year-on-year inflation refusing to slow down last year. While inflation did not hit 30% as predicted by many experts, it has been blamed for rising poverty rates in the country. Inflation closed 2023 at a 21-year high of 28.92%, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS. Meanwhile, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has asked President Bola Tinubu to fulfill his campaign promises to Nigerians by tackling the rampant insecurity in the country. Obi on Tuesday expressed deep concern over what he described as a surge of violence spreading through the Federal Capital Territory. He warned that no foreign investor or partner would like to invest in Nigeria, given the situation the country has found itself. According to him, the recent killings of 2 abducted young girls in Abuja made it more depressing, stressing that it is now time for the leaders to take all forms of serious measures to tackle the situation. In a statement issued on his X handle yesterday, the former Anambra State Governor lamented that insecurity worsened under the past administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, who campaigned and won the elections with the promise of tackling security, the economy, and corruption. He reached that at the annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association held in Lagos in August 2022, the then vice presidential candidate, Senator Kashim Shettima, categorically stated that if APC is elected, he as vice president would be in charge of security, while the president as an expert would handle the economy. He therefore implored them to fulfill their campaign promises, saying, even if they do not achieve 100% results, Nigerians want to see 100% effort. He also said it is now time to stop all forms of foreign troops from people in government until we deal with the ugly situation facing us at home, as no foreign investor or partner would like to invest in Nigeria with the current situation. In a recent development, renowned political economist Professor Pat Utomi says he's proposed a measure of opposition parties to wrestle power from the All Progressives Congress, APC, in 2027 is not for machine politics, but for genuine service to the people. Professor Utomi, who is the convener of the National Consultative Front and the Big Tent, disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday that the proposed measure party was not a hurried coupling together of interests. He was reacting to the comments by the Deputy National Organizing Secretary of the APC, Nze Chididuru, on his measure plans. Professor Utomi had said that the 3 presidential candidates in last year's general elections, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, Peter Obi of the Labour Party, and Rabiu Kwankwaso of the NNPP, had agreed to form a formidable party that would sack the APC in 2027. According to the professor, who is also a leader in the Labour Party, after having a conversation with the 3 political heavyweights, he agreed to form a mega party that would take over the country's leadership. However, while Duru described Utomi's plans in negative terms, the National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Felix Moka, had also described him as a serial promoter of mega parties which never materialized. But in his reaction, Professor Utomi expressed confidence that through the measure initiative, Nigeria would rise again. He added that his team would develop shared values around the approach to a people's-centered political party. Elsewhere, Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State on Tuesday evening dissolved the State Executive Council. Those affected included the Secretary to the State Government, Commissioners, Special Advisors and Senior Special Advisors, Chief of Staff and the Chief Press Secretary. While dissolving the cabinet, Governor Uzodinma thanked his former appointees for their contributions towards the success of his administration during his first term in office. He said the dissolution became necessary to rejig the new administration for optimum performance and new direction. Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has revealed that the explosion which occurred in the Bodija area of Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, on Tuesday night was likely caused by an improvised explosive device, IED. The incident has notably impacted the local community, with over 20 houses reportedly affected. NEMA shared these findings in a situation report published on its social media handle today. The agency is expected to continue its investigation and work closely with other relevant authorities to provide support and assistance to those affected by the explosion. The statement noted that stakeholders present include the Nigerian Police Force, the NSCDC, the DSS, the State Emergency Management Agency, the Nigerian Army, the Federal and State Fire Service, the Nigerian Red Cross, and the State Ministry for Environment and Amotekun Corps. It also noted that security has been beefed up in the area, while arrangements for more support to facilitate the operations are in progress, noting that the situation has been brought under control while arrangements are going on to ensure a smooth operation. You are still listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. In the studios with me, I have a development economist, author, political, social and national affairs analyst, Mr. Peter Anasike, to analyze the issues in the news this afternoon. Welcome to the conversation, Mr. Anasike.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for staying with us. Well, I would like to talk briefly on this Ibadan explosion, right? We were together yesterday when this news broke that there was an explosion in Ibadan, and so many people heard it in distant areas and they couldn't ascertain what was the cause. Now, NEMA is saying that it was likely caused by an improvised explosive device. The state governor, Governor Seyi Makinde, also said that it was traced to illegal miners' explosives, right? These were explosives that were brought into a residential area. From pictures and videos we are seeing, the particular house where the explosives were brought in have been reduced to ground zero. I'm talking about, you can't even see the foundation of the house. The houses around that were affected, roofs were blown off, a whole mall came down, right? In scenarios like this, are we going to see people being punished? Because first of all, illegal mining. Second of all, bringing explosives into a residential area. Are we going to see people being punished for this? Because there are loss of lives, there are loss of properties, there's so many casualties, there are children looking for their mothers as we speak. Or is this just going to be swept under the carpet?
Well, as you said, that investigation is still going on. So, after the investigation, the culprits, I hope they will be brought to book, but it depends now on those behind it, because mining is a serious business. A lot of influential people are behind all this mining in every part of the country, in every part of the state. Mining is what Congo is the richest country in the world. But because of the mineral deposits there had not been peace in Congo. So it's a syndicate with a very powerful people. So it depends on those behind this one. Understand me? But I feel with the uproar that it generated, the governor is not likely going to sweep it under the carpet. I feel that people are going to be brought to book since they have identified those behind it.
All right then. Let's move forward and talk about other issues in the news today. Governor Uzodinma dissolved his whole cabinet after he was sworn in for a second time. Is that to say that he wants to work with a different crop of people this time around?
You know, politics is about chop, I chop. Understand me? So, his first 4 years, some people has chopped. So, he wants to put them and bring another people. Understand? Where Uzodinma belongs to. They believe in sharing. Understand? So Uzodinma is somebody who shares. So I feel that that's what he is trying to do. You have benefited for 4 years, go and rest. Let other people benefit. But actually, this is not how a government is supposed to be run. You run with people who are skilled, who have competence to do what is expected of them. It's not a reward, it's not a compensation, it's not a retirement office. So, if there are people who he feels are competent, he can also retain them instead of dissolving everything. Because I don't know where he's going to get the next bunch of commissioners, SS and so on and so forth. But this is what happens in Nigeria. You have benefited, go and rest, let other people benefit. So it is a reward system, not a not for competence sake.
Wow, so we shouldn't be expecting that the reason for the rejigging of the cabinet is to bring in more hands, better hands, people with more capability to lead the state in the right direction.
Most of them is never there to govern him. So you shouldn't expect anything. He's just there for the benefit of his friends. Understand? Those that put him there, he's never there for the interest of Imo State, because that to start with, he never won the election.
Okay, now let's talk about the state of the country's economy and security in the nation right now. The Sharia Council are lamenting that Nigerians' suffering has increased under the present administration. But then I'll ask, this is a fair assessment, seeing that this administration has only been about 8 months in office? You know, it's been about just 8 months of this administration, and most of what we're seeing now is actually an aftermath, is actually a carryover from the Buhari administration. But then if the Sharia Council are coming out and they're saying, I actually saw a report where they said, oh, we regret supporting Muslim tickets, but we'll talk about that later on in matters. I want to take these two issues together. Peter Obi is also berating Vice President Shettima, saying that he promised to handle security. When he was campaigning, he said Tinubu will handle the economy, Shettima will handle security, and Nigerians' lives will be better. But it's just the 17th day of January. In this same month, about a week ago, 2 different families were kidnapped in the same areas. Now, these were not people who were on the road. These were people who were in their houses. Bandits, terrorists, because they are more than kidnappers, went into their houses and picked a family of 7. And they killed one, and the more they kill, the more they are ramping up the ransom for each of these victims. And not just that, people are crowdfunding online in order to pay money to terrorists, which is something that should not be happening. We have the Nigerian Police Force, we have the DSS, we have all our security agencies on all the social media platforms. And we know that because we speak against them. The next thing they will tell you, we know where you are and we can find you. How come we cannot find these kidnappers? 45 people. 3 commercial buses traveling along Enugu Expressway, they were stopped by terrorists, by kidnappers, and they cleared 3 commercial buses, 45 passengers, just into the bush like that. There's so many crowd funds going on. Even as at this morning, we're hearing reports of kidnapping activities going on in Bagada Expressway, this one that is close to us here. We've been hearing President Tinubu giving directives, do this, reduce my travel entourage, do conditional cash transfer for this and that. What about the Vice President Shettima, who said he would handle security? It would seem that insecurity is actually getting more out of hand, and it's just about 3 weeks into the new year.
Well, for me, Tinubu said that he's going to inherit, he's going to continue from where Buhari stopped. So he inherited his liabilities too. Understand? So the 2 reasons why Nigerians were deceived to vote for Buhari in 2015, one of them was corruption. That Buhari is not corrupt. That was number 1. That Buhari formed the kick against indiscipline. Understand? Number 2, that Buhari is a general. He can fight insecurity. So he failed woefully on these 2 things. Buhari ran the most corrupt government in the history of Nigeria. Insecurity was at its apex under Buhari's government. So Tinubu said he's going to continue from where Buhari stopped. So he inherited that corruption and also inherited the insecurity. Understand? So everything is going to the new stage. But for the Muslim Association saying that Nigerians are now suffering under Tinubu, to be fair to Tinubu, it started from the Buhari administration. It started, Buhari messed our economy up. Understand? Tinubu inherited a carcass. Understand? From
when you say carcass, do you mean when you say carcass rather?
Carcass,
yeah, when you
sure.
say carcass rather, do you mean an economy that cannot be resuscitated?
A dead economy, a misused economy. Understand? But that is good for him because he is instrumental to putting Tinubu there in 2015, but not for the interest of Nigerians, for his own interest. He has done the calculation that putting Tinubu, that Buhari there, using his so-called 12 million votes from the north, it will help Tinubu and from the southwest, it will help Tinubu to win. Then if Tinubu rules for 8 years, if Buhari rules for 8 years, power will come to the south. Buhari will give him a power. Understand me? So those things are just for selfish interest. It's never for the interest of the country. So Buhari was never made president because of the interest of Nigerians. He was not made president because of his capacity or competence. It's just for the interest of Tinubu. That is the calculation that he did. So I'm not sympathizing with him. I'm not pitying him for inheriting an empty treasury, an empty economy from Buhari.
Yeah, from the previous.
It's what you sow that you reap. But to be fair to him, the suffering started from Buhari. If you check our economy in 2015 and what it is in 2019, you know how Buhari ran the economy down. So the suffering started from Buhari, and the Tinubu inherited it. So those who are saying that Nigerians are now suffering, Nigerians have been suffering from the past 8 years.
But let's actually talk about the role of the vice president in combating insecurity.
No. It is the president that Shetima did not know what he was saying then.
When he was campaigning with that premise.
Yes, the president is the commander-in-chief of the federal, understand me? So it is the duty of the president the president should be in charge of security. Understand me? Not the vice president. So then, but even if Shetima is in charge of security and Tinubu is in charge of economy, but as at now, both of them have failed. The economy has failed. Insecurity has become worse. So no matter who is in charge, none of them is performing. Nigeria is now, Somalia is now more peaceful than Nigeria. This is the first time that I'm hearing anywhere in the world that citizens are doing crowdfunding for terrorists.
It was actually blatant. It was people saying, oh, please send more into this account. And the worst part is former communications minister Issa Pantami came out to say, oh, my friend has said he would donate 50 million naira. And when that happened, the kidnappers ramped up their ransom demands to 700 million naira. And that wasn't just the case. They actually killed 2 young girls and dumped the bodies by the roadside and told their families, go and pick them up. So when they come out and they tell us, oh, we are working, we are doing something, Nigerians are not feeling it, right? If I'm hungry and I know my stomach is empty and I've not eaten anything since morning, and you're my representative and you're telling people, oh, I'm filled up, you've given me food, in fact my barn is full, I know what I am feeling. And it seems like they're just whitewashing things in Nigeria.
The truth is that I said it many months ago that Tinubu is going to run Babangida kind of administration. Babangida was known as the Maradona. Maradona know how to dribble people. So the truth is that at this moment, nothing is going on in the country. Nothing is happening in the country. But Tinubu has the media behind him. Understand? He has always had the media behind him. So the media are not writing the truth at the moment. Nigeria now is a failed state. Imagine where people are now raising money to free people, those kidnapped by bandits, and our security are there watching, and a whole minister encouraging crowdfunding to be given to bandits. That shows you that this is a failed state. But I'm not surprised. They say that people get the kind of needles that they want. So this is what we want. Nigerians have been docile from long ago. Those in power had read the countenance, the psychology of Nigerians, and they see us as people that they can manipulate.
I think we are more concerned about not even just more concerned, insecurity everywhere. It doesn't make any sense. But then in the FCT, where it's the seat of power, right? Where you have Aso Rock,
the force headquarters in Abuja. That's where the chief of army staff lives. That's where the inspector general of police live. And it has become a war zone. FCT has become a city where life is brutish and short. And that's where the president is. So if they cannot maintain security in FCT, where else? Understand me? So if there's insecurity in Abuja, Nigeria's system of power, where else can be safe? Understand me? So what we are now in is self-help. Government has failed. That's what individuals are now doing crowdfunding. Nigerians now believe that the only way we can release those who have been kidnapped is by our own effort, by we raising money to release them, because they have lost confidence, they have lost interest, they have lost hope on the security apparatus of the country.
All right, then we'll continue this conversation on matters, but for now the World News at 12 continues. Thank you so much, Mr. Anaske, for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon. I look forward to having more elaborate conversation on these topics on matters. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
On the foreign scene, Pakistan says 2 children were killed and 3 others injured in strikes by Iran on Tuesday, the third country targeted by Tehran this week. Iran said it hit 2 sites linked to the militant group Jaish al-Adl, according to a news agency affiliated with the country's military. Pakistan called it an illegal act and warned that it could lead to serious consequences. Iran has also attacked sites in Iraq and Syria this week. Iran said those attacks were targeted operations to punish those who breach its security. A missile attack by Iran and Pakistan is near unprecedented, but Tuesday's strike hit a village in the vast southwestern province of Balochistan, which borders the 2 countries. Pakistan's foreign ministry condemned the unprovoked violation of its airspace by Iran and launched a protest with Tehran. It called the incident completely unacceptable, adding that it was even more concerning that this illegal act has taken place despite the existence of several channels of communication between Pakistan and Iran. China on Wednesday urged Pakistan and Iran to show restraint. Iran had late on Monday launched ballistic missile strikes against targets in Iraq's northern city of Erbil, prompting condemnation by the US. The Iranian strikes come amid heightened tensions across the Middle East since the war in the Gaza Strip between Israel and the Iran-backed Palestinian group Hamas began on October 7. And that's it in the World News at 12. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that the Sharia Council has lamented Nigerians increase the suffering under this present administration. Peter Obibire's Shatima reminds him of promise to handle security. Amid APC cynicism, Utomi insists Nigeria will rise again through major parties. And the governor Uzadima dissolves cabinet after second term inauguration. On the foreign scene, Pakistan says children killed in Iranian strike. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Ijeoma Innocent. Please follow our social media handles at VOP903FM for coverage of your live events and brand news mentioned in our news bulletins. Do send a mail to news@voiceofthepeople.ng. Good afternoon and thank you for listening. Do stay tuned. Matters comes up next.